Dear students, today I am going to discuss about excretion, the last topic of the lesson, life processes, class 10 science. What is excretion? Excretion means the removal of harmful or toxic metabolic waste such as ammonia, urea or uric acid from the body of an organism. How does it occur in the unicellular as well as the multicellular organisms? In unicellular organisms, it diffuses out only through the body surface to the environment, into the environment, whereas in multicellular organisms, they have the specialized organs or the organ systems for eliminating these nitrogen waste from their body. They are such as flame cells, especially in the flatworms, nephridias in the earthworm, Malpighian tubules in insects, whereas kidneys, especially in the vertebrates. Here we are just going to discuss about the human excretory system. Humans have the well-defined excretory system. The diagram has been shown over there. You can just see what does it consist. It consists of a pair of kidneys. The color of the kidneys is crimson red. A pair of ureters which bring the urine from the kidneys downwards into the urinary bladder. Then third one is the urinary bladder and the urethra. This portion now, this is the kidney. Then come to this one is the ureter. This portion is the urinary bladder. And last one, this is the opening of the urinary bladder known as the urethra. So our kidneys now you can see, they are present especially in our lower abdomen. Each kidney is having the color, is having the crimson red color. They bear adrenal glands and they are not located on the same plane. The right kidney is slightly lower than the left kidney due to the presence of liver on the right side. In this diagram, you can also see the two major blood vessels. One is the with the red one, it is the aorta, and the other blue one, it is the vein, which is called as inferior vena cava. A branch of this aorta known as renal artery, it supplies blood to the kidneys, whereas renal vein collects the blood, the deoxygenated blood from the kidneys to the inferior vena cava. The measurement of the kidney. Each kidney measures about 10 to 12 centimeter in length, 5 to 7 centimeter in width, and 2 to 3 centimeter in thickness. And the average weight varies, you can say, from 120 to 170 grams. If you further see the internal structure of the kidney, now you can just see each kidney here. This is the internal structure which I will be discussing in my next slide. Each kidney now, it consists of large number of filtering units through which the blood filters. And these filtering units, they are called the nephrons. So their number is 1.5 to 2 millions in each kidney. They are highly complicated structures with the network of the blood capillaries around them. This is a diagram which shows that the internal structure of the kidney. Here you can see the outer part of the kidney is known as the cortex. Also we can call it renal cortex. The inner part is called the medulla or the renal medulla. The funnel shaped structure here where the urine is being collected, this is known as the renal pelvis. The medulla region consists of the pyramid shaped structures which are called the renal pyramids. And here you can see this structure. This is the nephron. Some of the portion of the nephron is present in the cortex and some of the portion is present in the medulla region. The blood vessel carrying the supplying, you can say, oxidative blood is called the renal artery. the blood vessel carrying the deexcellent blood from here, it is known as the renal vein, and the tube you can see which collects the urine from this pelvis is called the ureter. This is the reason where all these two blood vessels as well as blood vessels enter and leave, and the ureter, it just comes out from here. This portion is known as the hilum of the kidney. Now coming to the filtering units. The filtering units are called the nephrons. You can see the structure of the nephron. You can see this portion. This is the glomerulus, but will not be moving directly to the glomerulus. We'll see the parts of this one first of all. First part, so you can say the nephron is divided into certain regions. The first one is the Bowman's capsule. This cup-shaped structure, this one is the Bowman's capsule. And then with it a very highly coiled structure, which is also known as convoluted. Highly coiled tube is convoluted. Very narrow, you can convoluted tubule arises from it. And this forms a loop, and then again further coiled, and then moves into a tube, a duct, where you can see lot many branches. These are the junctions, you can say, regions where the other nephrons open into it. Collecting duct. So you can say that each nephron consists of three main parts. Number first, that is the Bowman's capsule. Second one is the tubule, and the third one is the collecting duct. These are the three reasons. So we can divide even the tubule from here, this coiled structure, into three reasons. Number first, which is close to the Bowman's capsule, this is known as the proximal. Proximal is near to it. Tubule or proximal convoluted also can be written like this. Convoluted can also be written. PC, in short form you can write PCT. Then here this PCT, it leads to we call it a Henle's loop, or the loop of Henle, as per the name of the discoverer. Then this Henle's loop, it projects again, gets highly coiled over here, and this is called the distal convoluted tubule. We can also write it as DC, not BCT, but DC. I'll just rewrite it. We can also call it DCT. D means the distal means away from the Bowman's capsule, convoluted means highly coiled, and then tubule. And this DCT leads into this collecting duct. The filtrate which comes over here in the collecting duct finally is known as the nephric urine now, and it opens now into the renal pelvis, and from there goes through the ureter into the urinary bladder. One more thing here you can just see. These are the major part of this tubular system. In this Bowman's capsule, inside this one here, you can see this portion here. This is the glomerulus here inside it, this portion. And this is a tuft of capillaries. Here, arteriole that brings the blood over here. This is known as afferent arteriole. Renal artery branches into the arteriole. Afferent arteriole, it brings the blood and forms the network inside this cup-shaped structure, and then it leaves it and then forms a network around, you can say here, the loop of Henle, or you can say finally the tubules. We call it a vasa recta or vasa recti, and these are essential for the reabsorption of substances from the tubules back into the blood. These are mainly the structures which we have to remember. Now, what is the main role of this nephron? It mainly plays an important role in the formation of the urine. It filters the blood. Okay, now in this glomerulus, you can say network of capillary network, you know, the blood gets filtered. So blood is moving with the pressure, and this rate by which the blood is filtering, this is known as glomerular filtration rate. Okay, and this filtration is also known as glomerular filtration, or we also call it ultrafiltration. Why we call it ultrafiltration? Because the blood which is being filtered, it filters by means of the three layers. These three layers means the first is the blood capillary. the wall of the blood capillary. From here, the blood will get filtered. Then from here, then comes the Bowman's capsule. The epithelial cells. Here there is the epithelial cells. From here, this will be filtered. Then the basement membrane on which the epithelial cells lie. Then through these three layers, when the blood gets filtered, the filtrate here, the final filtrate, it comes over here. This is called the nephric filtrate. The filtrate, it keeps on going through the various regions of the tubules and finally moves into the collecting duct. Now, when this filtrate up, so you can just remember what is ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration means the filtration of the blood through the three regions, three layers. You can see first the wall of the capillaries, second the epithelial cells of the Bowman's capsule, third the basement membrane, and this is the filtrate which is being formed over here. This filtrate now, what is being filtered from the blood? Not the RBCs, not the WBCs, but not the platelets, not the proteins, but mainly the plasma. Blood plasma get filtered, and this blood plasma consists maximum amount 98% you can see of the water is being filtered, and 75 or more than 75% of the glucose is being filtered over here, and amino acid and various ions and other things, and some waste substances. So what happens? The use was, see, if 98% of water is being filtered out, and as per this filtration rate, you just imagine how much of filtrate is being formed per minute. It is near about 125 milliliters of filtrate is being formed per minute. And in case if the whole filtrate is being removed from the body, then you will find that it comes near about to 180 liters per day. But imagine, do we discharge this much of urine within a day? No, we do not discharge. We discharge normally 1.5 to 2 liters of urine per day. Then where does this filtrate go? What happens to it? It means all the maximum amount of water, then useful substances, they get reabsorbed by the walls of the tubules back into the blood. We call it tubular reabsorption. And then finally, some substances are being secreted out also from the collecting duct and the tubules. We call it renal or you can say tubular secretion. We'll just see the formation of the urine in our next slide here. Now the mechanism of urine formation. How the urine is being formed. The mechanism of urine formation involves three steps. The first is the glomerular filtration, second is the tubular reabsorption, and third one is the tubular secretion. As I've just mentioned you in the glomerular filtration, so the blood is filtering through the epithelium of the Bowman's capsule, endothelium of glomerular blood vessels, basement membrane, and this is known as the ultrafiltration also. Next comes the reabsorption. I've told you the 99% of the filtrate or 98 to 90 is the water, and maximum substances, useful substances, they are being reabsorbed. Where the reabsorption takes place, especially the glucose is being reabsorbed in the proximal part of the tubule, the portion of the tubule which is near to the Bowman's capsule. From there it is being reabsorbed, and reabsorption normally takes place by means of active and the passive way. When I say active way, then it means it involves the energy, that is ATP. When it's passive transport, then no energy is being utilized. Next one is the tubular secretion. And some substances, as I told you about various substances, they are also secreted out from the walls of the tubules into the filtrate, and then helps in the formation of the urine. Now, mechanism of the urine formation. Urine now, it consists of 95% of water and 5% of nitrogenous waste, remember. And waste are basically the urea, ammonia, creatinine, and so much. Apart from this potassium, sodium, calcium ions also being secreted out. In case if the glucose is being observed, then that can indicate that a person may be suffering from the disorder, and that is known as the glucosuria, and this occurs basically in diabetes mellitus, or the sugar disease normally, which we normally say in a normal in a normal normal way we normally say. Then come to the osmoregulation. Now what is osmoregulation? This is a balancing between the ions and the body fluids. Is known this a balance is being maintained in the body, and we also call it the homeostasis. And this is a hormone known as ADH, which plays a vital role in maintaining this in the urine formation. Because question has been asked, I've seen in previous a few years back question paper, what's the role of ADH? It helps especially in the formation of the urine, now either by making the urine hypertonic or hypotonic. This is the hormone which is synthesized in the hypothalamus gland present in our brain, and it is stored in the pituitary gland. So its basic work is, what is work? It works especially on the walls of the tubules, especially the DCT. The walls of the DCT, I have just told you about the DCT. It has certain pores, also water pores. So what happens? If the amount of water will be less in the blood or the body fluids, what will happen? A signal will be given through the hypothalamus to the pituitary gland, and then the ADH release will be released. And this ADH will open these pores, and the water from the filtrate will start moving into the body. The reabsorption of water will take place even from the DCTs. And as a result, the filtrate will become more concentrated in salts, and the urine discharged by this person will be hypertonic urine. If I give you the example of the camel, they discharge hypertonic urine. And we also discharge in summer sometimes. We also start discharging the hypertonic urine, and we can get the signals like burning sensation during urination. If we feel it, just you should understand that the tonicity of the urine has been affected. So if you consume more amount of water, you will be normalized. Otherwise, you have to go and see the doctor. Then comes second is the hypotonic urine. See now this one, hypotonic. Now this is the disorder is in fact. In case if it is disorder, hypotonic means a urine which large amount of water. Every minute, a person wants, after a minute, 15 minutes, or after every hour, a person wants to urinate. Normally it happens especially in the winters in a normal person also, because the rate of sweating is less, perspiration is less, so less discharge of the water from the body. So what happens? Body fluids have got more amount of water, ADH is not released. But if it is continuous since birth, then think that ADH is not being formed. It is genetic disorder. ADH is not being formed in the body of that person. So the person will discharge large volume of hypotonic urine with more water will be discharged, and this type of the individuals, they require proper hormonal therapy also for their survival. And the disease is known as diabetes insipidus. You just remember that disease name, diabetes, BETES, insipidus, INS. I have already mentioned over here, diabetes insipidus. So diabetes insipidus is caused due to deficiency of ADH, whereas diabetes mellitus, which is sugar disease, it is caused due to deficiency of insulin, which is a hormone released by pancreas in our body. We'll be studying that in detail, especially in the endocrine system. So that was all. A topic which is being left in the human excretory system, it is about the dialysis. I'll be making a separate video for that one, but I'll just give you a bit hint. What is dialysis? Dialysis, it is, you can say, it is also known as the artificial kidney. So artificial kidney does not mean that we have to place it in our body like that. It is a way of filtering the blood artificially. Okay, and that is known as the dialysis. Will be covering that portion later on. And next video. Coming to the excretion in the plants. Plants also release the waste from their body. You must have seen the water is being released either in the form of droplets or in the form of water vapor. Then you must have seen the leaves are being shed, the gums are being released, the resin, then the latex. They all are the waste products of the plants which are being given time to time to the environment. Some of even the roots, they also release certain substances directly into the soil. You can see in this diagram here, you can see a rubber plant, the latex is being released over here, the gum secretion is being seen. These all are excreted with the water, you can see here for me. So this is all about the topic. Your lesson is over. Thank you very much.